You have to expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
You just do. Every day there are new challenges, new issues, and I think of myself as a problem solver, and I think everybody on my staff and the cabinet as well think of themselves that way too. We don't just sit around and complain, oh, I wish this didn't happen, I wish we could change this or that. We just brainstorm every day about how we can try to make things better. And you deal with the unexpected, you deal with the losses and the data. It's not always happy news. And you say, okay, what can we do next? Let's put that behind us, let's move on and get ready for the next thing. When I and other governors issued the order to shut things down almost 3 months ago, it was like a done deal. It was a black and white move. It felt draconian to me, and almost every governor who did it, probably every one of them, felt a pit in their stomach doing that, because nobody runs for office in order to shut things down. And it would be the easiest thing to do, politically and otherwise. It would be the easy thing to do, to say, yes, let's open everybody up, because that's what some people want. And I don't want to hurt the economy, and I don't want to hurt the state budget and local budgets and school budgets. So it would be easy in that sense to say, just open everything up now. What the heck, ollie, I'm free. But that's not realistic from a public health point of view. 22% of the population of Maine, people of Maine, are over the age of 65. A very high percentage of people in Maine have diabetes or hypertension or asthma. We have one of the highest childhood asthma rates in the country. A level of obesity that is higher than other states. We have a substantial vulnerable population. We can't just isolate the so-called vulnerable people and colonize them, put them in a sanatorium or something. Most of the people of Maine have some vulnerability to this virus. It bothers me every night not every night, but it was bothering me that people weren't taking seriously the threat to the health and lives of Maine citizens, Maine people. And that would bother me more than anything. And sometimes when some people want to make political hay of this pandemic, that's the last thing we're going to do. The pandemic doesn't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican, Independent or Green. This pandemic has destroyed lives up and down the state, no matter who you are, where you came from, how long you've been here. If it was your aunt or uncle or grandmother or cousin, you'd want to make it known that they weren't just COVID-19 number 89. They were your family member, your friend. Whether they lived in a nursing home, a congregate living facility, a group home, or lived down the street from you in a single family residence. If the people in their 30s and 40s who had nothing to do with any congregate living or nursing homes. The day I issued that proclamation, I called Angus King, I called Governor Brennan, Joe Brennan, and later I talked to Jock McKernan. And we just had some really good conversations, because they all went through some tough times. And I'm trying to put things in perspective and get their advice. Not political, but personal and professional advice. And every one of them says, tell the people the truth. Even if it's ambiguous, even if they're gray areas, tell the people the truth, and they'll trust you. Don't ever lie to them. Well, let's see. Last week, we had the pandemic, which is taking its toll still, going its course. We had a recession, of course. We had the highest unemployment rate in about 80 years. We had a racial incident the week before that set off protests and mass demonstrations all across the country and across the state of Maine. Several thousand people in the streets of Portland night after night till 2 a.m., which I was trying to keep on top of too. And then the president decided to visit. He who shall not be named. Made my week. I would say the phone call on Monday was very disturbing. Very disturbing.
Before the visit?
Yeah, when
the governors.
We have a weekly call with the White House. Usually it's the vice president. It's all pretty diplomatic, of 50 governors or whoever's on the call. We talk about PPE and testing, and we hear from Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and this one and that one. And that Monday morning, there was a delay in the call starting. And I thought, well, what's wrong? Sometimes the president joins and talks about himself a lot. But on that morning, I'm sitting there alone, and all of a sudden the president came on the call and started. He was very angry, very loud, and it was a rambling, disjointed rant. It was very disturbing. And we learned later that he'd been on the phone with Putin before that. You know, I don't know what set him off, but it was a very disturbing call. And that's why I said to him, you know, I understand you're planning to come to Maine on Friday. I'm concerned about security. It's because of the tone of his remarks. He took it as a double dare, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they were planning to come anyway. Well, when I got the job of district attorney for 3 counties in western Maine, there were several men who were interested in that job at the same time. And initially it was an appointment, and I had to run for it 3 months later. And it was a last-minute thing. The governor decided to appoint me for the interim and trusted me to run for it and win, which I did. But when I told some other people in the office, one guy said, he yelled down the hall, well, I guess if I had a set of ovaries, I'd have gotten the job. And I went, okay, sucker. That's the way you feel? I'll prove you wrong. It was a murder trial, a murder case that I tried against a former New York City police officer for killing his wife. And first he said she committed suicide, then he said it was an accident, then he said I didn't mean to, you know. So it was an interesting case from that point of view. But that particular reporter followed it every day of the week, and then Friday night we got a guilty verdict from the jury. And I thought, well, that's good. He's going to write a good story. And the Sunday came, and I looked through the newspaper. It wasn't in the news. In the family section, it was the prosecutor wore pale powder blue. It was about what I was wearing. I mean, my dress wasn't bad, but that's not what I thought he'd write about. It was almost secondary that it was a murder case and that I'd won it, and that I'd overcome some legal issues getting that verdict. You deal with adversity in any of those positions, and you deal with the desire to help as many people as possible in sort of large situations. And barriers that are sometimes just political, which is frustrating, and sometimes just irrational. When I was district attorney, I was the first woman DA in New England and one of the first in the country, woman DAs. And so reporters would ask me, well, what's it like to be a woman DA? And I'd say, I don't know, I've never been a male DA, so how do I know? I just know I have a job to do, and I think I know how to do it. Same goes today.